Hey everyone, it's Amy Blue from Once in a Blue Moon, and this afternoon it's a rainy day out here in central Illinois. Just the right kind of weather to sit and do something relaxing and fun. So grab your beverage of choice, have it close by, and let's get started on this tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do an ankle bracelet. Ankle bracelets, of course, are a little bit different as far as measuring goes, obviously, than it would be a regular bracelet. The normal average, I shouldn't say normal, I guess average would be a better word. Average size for an ankle bracelet for a woman is normally around 10 inches. 8.5 inches is considered petite size, and then I think it goes up to 9 for a small, and then 10 is your average, and of course 11, and so on going up. The first thing you want to do when you make an ankle bracelet is to measure around your ankle where you want that ankle bracelet to sit. And for a comfortable fit, I measured mine, and mine's around 10 inches. So in order for it to be a comfortable fit, I want to add approximately half an inch to an inch, which would make it 11 to 11.5 inches long. That's including the clasp and all of the findings that have to go on there. And I'm also going to be adding a charm. So we'll start out by figuring out what type of beading wire we're going to use. I've decided today that we're going to use the Beadalon 19 strand in brilliant silver. I don't have them, it's getting pretty low there, so we're going to have to purchase some pretty soon. But this is this type, the 19 strand, will give you, as it says, better flexibility, and that's what you want. You don't want it to be stiff, the anklet to be stiff. And I'm using a lobster clasp. I'm using wire guardians, 2 of those, to keep my wire from rubbing and possibly breaking at some point. This will help it stay more secure and last longer. And I'm also using my new little friend called the crimp bead stopper. I did give a tutorial recently on how to put these on your bracelets and necklaces, and we're going to be using that today because, like I said, they're very secure and they just look a lot more polished. I also have a jump ring for the other side of my lobster clasp. I have this little charm, this little silver charm with jump ring that's going to go on the bracelet itself. Okay, so I went ahead and measured out my wire, my 19 strand wire. And since I'm going to be needing about an 11.5 inch anklet to go around my ankle, I want to allow some extra, of course, for movement in being able to incorporate my wire guardian, my crimp bead stopper, and that sort of thing. So I've went a few extra inches on my wire in order to be able to do that. And so I've cut my wire. I've got my trusty friend, my bead stopper, here with me. I'm going to move this over just a little bit. Okay. And today I'm going to be using not only the flesh cutters to cut my wire, which I've already done, I'm also going to be using 2 chain nose pliers to be able to maneuver with my jump rings. So my friend Mr. Bead Stopper is on the end of my wire. I've allowed maybe, let's see, how much is that? That's about 3 inches. That's a good amount of wire to be able to move it around and make it do what I need it to do when I'm putting the findings on the edge of the bracelet. So I'm doing this for a friend of mine, and I'm going to be sending it out in the mail to her within the next couple of days once I get this done. And her favorite colors are teal, purple. And I found these really pretty. They're 8/0 Miyuki seed beads. I like to use Miyuki or Toho because you'll find that with those, they might be a little more expensive, but they're more uniform in size. You're not going to have a small one, then a big one, and you usually don't have to cull through the beads to make sure that you've got all the right size, because it just makes your your jewelry look nicer when they're uniform in size. And then for an accent, I'm going to be using these little 4mm AB round, and I've got a few bicones are mixed in there, but it won't matter. It'll look nice as part of the design. So I'm going to be using these 3 and just trying to figure out right now what my design's going to be. And so I think, let's see here, I'm going to grab a needle because that's going to be a lot easier to maneuver these beads instead of picking them up one at a time. Your fingers can get really tired really quick. Okay, so I've got some needles here. I'm gonna try and find myself, oh gosh, let's see. Let's see if I can find one here. They're pretty much I like the big eye needles for projects like this. I planned on having this all set up. Here we go. The big eye needles are great because you don't have to strain your eyes to try and get your beading wire or your thread through. They open up in the middle and you can just put your wire or your thread straight through like this. And there you are. It's going to make threading those small Mayuki seed beads a lot easier to get on the wire. So I'm going to put these, set these aside, put those away real quick. Bear with me here. Put those away, and now we'll get started. So I think for the bracelet itself, I want to do just a nice pattern. You can really do any kind of pattern that you want. So I'll take a purple, I'll take 3 of the purple, 3 of the purple, I'll take a bicone here or a rondelle faceted, and then we'll do, I think I'm going to do 3 of the teal or the turquoise color. Okay, and you can make this pattern any way that you want, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my pattern just like this. So once I've got my purple, the crystal, and my teal, I go ahead and do another faceted, and this time I think I'll do 5. Let's be adventurous. We're gonna see how this looks. You can always change it if you don't like it. There's 4 and 5. Okay, I'm gonna pull this down. Okay, you gotta do a little bit of a pull there. Okay, so there's 5 of my purple. I've got 3, pull it all the way down to my bead stopper. And you can see what that looks like. Then I'm going to go ahead and do another one of the faceted 4mm. And 5 of the turquoise. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And pull those down. So this is my pattern that I'm going to do for the entire anklet, just like this, and I'm going to continue on until I have approximately 10 inches of beading on my wire. So I will be back in just a moment. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. I've gone ahead and strung out my pattern for my anklet, and in measuring while I was putting all of these beads on, I realized that I had given you incorrect information. My ankle measured around for a 10-inch anklet, but for whatever reason the math just wasn't coming out right, and what I ended up having to do is to shorten the length of my beads to 9 inches, and then my clasp and everything that goes with it on one end, that measures about 1 inch, so there's 10 inches, and then another 1/2 inch for the other end with the jump ring that the lobster clasp will fit into. So I do apologize for that. A lot of times, that does happen, and it's just a good idea to keep checking your measurements. Okay, so now that I've got my beads on the way that I want, I've got the correct length. Now it's time to go ahead and put on the components, the findings that it's going to help us finish out this bracelet. So I still have my bead stopper on one end. My goodness, I can't tell you how many times that has, before I started using these, the beads would just come off the wire or the thread, and it was just really aggravating. So I always make sure that now I've got that bead stopper on every single time. So that's on one end. I did trim down my wire on the other end to roughly 3 inches. I had quite a bit more on this end than the other. So now that I've done that, I'm going to take my crimp bead stopper, thread it onto my wire, bring it down to the bicone faceted bead, crystal bead here. Leave that sit, and then I'm going to take one of my wire guardians here in the silver color. My friend does love silver. Okay, we've got it threaded through one side. Bring it through the channel on the top, back down through the other side. Kind of hard to get a good grip on it sometimes. Once again, you just got to make it do what you want it to do. Okay, so I've got it through the other side like this, and I'm going to pull up, pull down part way, not all the way down to the crimp bead yet. I'm going to take my lobster clasp and thread it onto my wire guardian. Actually, okay, here's a good thing to know. A lot of times the holes on the lobster clasp will not fit over your wire guardian to get it set on there properly. So what I usually do then, I don't know why I didn't do it this time, but I go ahead and I'm going to put a jump ring on there, just so I can make sure that I know it's going to fit properly. Yeah, find where the two come together. I take my chain nose pliers, one on each side, pull away, push away from me, never like this, because like I said, it'll weaken the jump ring and you don't want that. I take my lobster clasp and thread it onto the jump ring. Okay. There we go. Okay, it's on there now. And then I'm going to take it and thread, oops, excuse me. It's one of those days, I think. Oh well. It all comes out good in the end. Go ahead and bring my jump ring back together, making sure that they're even and flush with each other. Take this and slide it onto the wire. Bring it up to the wire guardian. It's all the way on there. Make sure my wire is tucked down into the channel. I don't have any gaps. Then I bring it back down through the crimp bead stopper. Crimp stopper bead, whichever one. And okay, I'll try and get that in there without any issues the best I can. Sorry about that, I went off camera. Okay, I've got it through the crimp stopper bead. And then I want to wind it down through a couple of my beads on the wire. Pull it. I've still got a little bit of wiggle room in there. My wire is sitting nicely in the channel. Take my chain nose pliers, put it over the stop, or the stop button on the crimp bead stopper. Hold that and squeeze. And I'm going to go ahead and do that again because I don't think it clicked into place. So let's try that again. Okay, I've never had this happen before. This is a new one. For whatever reason, I didn't get it here. Grab a hold. I do apologize. Let's try that again. Come on, guys, cooperate, okay? Grab a hold of it. I'm going to try my flat nose pliers this time and see if that's going to work better. Okay. Good grief. I do apologize. It's normally not this difficult. I think it's the operator. What do you think? Try this again. I think I have a faulty crimp bead stopper. Let me see if I can work with this a little bit off camera and I'll be right back. Thanks. Okay, everybody. I'm back again. Thank you, and I apologize for that little faux pas there. But, and actually I could edit it out as far as what happened with the crimp bead stopper or crimp stopper bead, but I wanted you to see exactly what I did. And I was right. It was not, first I thought it was the crimp stopper bead itself, but actually it was the operator, yours truly. I had actually had my chain nose pliers sitting over the bicone crystal. And so when I pushed down, it didn't press down the button, it pushed down and completely cracked off the crystal bead. So I had to do a little operation there to replace the crystal, get everything put back together on this end, and actually went in and was able to get that button to go all the way down on the wire, and it's not moving. And of crisis was solved. So there we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut off the end of my wire here as close to the beads as I can. Okay, take off the excess. I don't have anything that's sticking out that I need to put back down into the bead, the next bead. So there we have, this is the one end of the ankle bracelet. Nice and secure. So we go over to the other side, hoping for no issues with the crimp stopper bead. Take off my bead buddy. Once again, I'm going to put on my crimp bead stopper, just like on the other end, down to where it meets the bead. Then I take my wire guardian. I'm going to thread the wire through, making sure that the wire sits down inside this little channel here that's on the top of the wire guardian. That's what's going to keep your wire from fraying, you know, if it rubs up against the jump ring or anything like that. And it helps it last a lot longer. There are other things that you can use besides a wire guardian, and I can do a couple of videos on those if you like. Just let me know if you'd like to see that. And as you can see, I've got my wire guardian threaded properly. I'm going to pull it down, run it through the crimp stopper bead and through a couple of my 8/0 Miyuki seed beads. Pull it down. To where it looks like this. You always want to give it a little bit of wiggle room here. And I did not put the jump ring on first. I'm not going to rethread that. I'm going to leave it just like that. It's just easier to go ahead and open the jump ring and add it that way. This will be the jump ring for the lobster clasp. So I take both of my chain nose pliers. Whoop. The flat nose would have worked, but is it? There it is. There's the split. Bring it back together. And then pull it down just a little more. Make sure my wire's staying in the channel. Put my chain nose pliers over. Crimp stopper bead. Oh, kind of fumble fingers today for some reason. Pull that tight. Push down. I felt that one go down. Okay, you can see where it pushed down inside into that the top of the bead there. Like I said, sometimes you can hear them click, sometimes you can feel them push down, sometimes you gotta do it a few times just to make sure that it did go down like it was supposed to. Do the test. We're gonna pull. Nope, that's secure. So I can go ahead and trim off my wire. I don't have anything sticking out. I don't have anything to tuck into any beads. Okay, here's my anklet. And we can put on the charm. I grab my trusty chain nose. Since this is so small, I know they say you normally shouldn't do this, but it's so small I can do it easier with a fingernail and a pair of pliers than using both of the chain nose pliers. I'm going to put my jump ring through my charm, and I think I want to go ahead and put it on this end of the anklet. It's still going to have some movability in here. And then go ahead and close this up. Make sure it's flush. And it is. A little bit more. I'm going here. Straighten that out. There you have your charm on there. Move the tools out of the way here. We're going to attach the lobster clasp to the jump ring. Some days are easier than others to get your hands to work, but there you are. A cute little anklet, which I hope my friend will like. And I hope this tutorial has been helpful to you. Please do leave comments, suggestions, pictures of anything that you try to make. And I hopefully will see you on the next video. I hope you have a great day and keep on beading. Thanks so much. Bye.